Falling in love is one of the most exciting experiences in life. It feels like you have just discovered life, from the heartbeat to the butterflies in the belly, the feeling that you experience when you are with this special person. Okay, maybe not everyone feels this way, but you cannot deny the feeling of happiness and unexplainable joy that is characterized with being in love. In some cases, you might find yourself smiling all day just thinking about that person. When situations come up or you have had a major achievement, they are the first person you want to share the news with. Ultimately, there is this joy and happiness that they bring to your lives. A feeling that has been related closely to what you get from taking narcotics. Yes, your dopamine levels are running high, and this is something you do not want to ever recover from. You want it to continue, you want them closer than ever. And so, you dream of the big day. Do not get ahead of yourself at this point and do a little backtracking. Emotions are cool and all that. Humans are, after all, emotional beings, and most times tend to act based on how they feel rather than act rationally. It becomes even worse when it comes to the issue of love. You want to follow your heart because you believe it cannot lead you wrongly. Like, how do you explain the beating of your heart when you see someone? How do you explain the joy that you feel in their presence, the feeling that you cannot live without them? So you think to yourself, this must be love, and yet, from the rising statistics of failed marriages and numerous breakups in our society, we can tell that your feelings can lead you wrongly. People move from dating one person to the other, looking for love in the wrong people. When it fails, they move on to the next person. But is this the plan of God for your life? Definitely not. He wants you to be able to choose rightly, to get it and get it right, because divorce is never a part of God's plan for marriages. For this to become possible, there are specific things you need to know and be sure about before making a decision that can determine the quality of life you want to live for the rest of your life. Number 1. Are your beliefs aligned? As a believer, there should be no compromise when it comes to the matter that concerns your faith. This doesn't stop you from having a cordial relationship with your colleagues, business associates, neighbors, etc. How else do we evangelize to them if you are not friendly or relate with them? However, do not ever make the mistake of having one as a spouse or partner with the aim of converting them or in the hopes that they will one day come to light. True, miracles do happen and anyone can change, but then what are the chances and are you ready to take such a risk? It is, however, an express command from the scripture that you should not become unequally yoked with unbelievers. 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 14 to 18. Do not get away by their goodness or the beauty of their hearts now. The truth is that if your beliefs are not aligned, many other issues will surface in the future. Issues that will result in disagreements and fights, something you could easily have avoided by ascertaining the faith of the person in question. You do not get to assume here, you should be sure where they stand. There are so many people out there who claim to be Christians, but whose beliefs and doctrines are not in any way scriptural. Do not relegate the times you spend together to eating and trying to impress each other. Instead, talk about these things. Discuss them thoroughly, knowing that your faith should form the foundation of your relationship. Also, check for the fruits in their lives. Do they express the fruits of the Spirit? This is one thing you should consider before you say yes or before you pop the question. Anything that would oppose or come between your relationships with God should not be tolerated at any cost. Number 2. Relationship requires commitment. Beyond your feelings and happy moments, you need to realize that marriage, or any relationship for that matter, requires work for it to be successful. And the effort needs to come from both sides. Do not think that everything would sort out itself completely because you are in love. There are practical issues that will require you to sit, discuss, and work out. In a sense, your time, efforts, and resources would be required. Your patience and endurance will be tested as well. The Bible tells us that no man should be put as under what God has joined. So, the moment you say yes, you are simply saying you are ready to be committed to that person and the relationship. In the sight of God, you are no longer two, but have become one flesh. It means that you are ready to stick to your partner through thick and thin. You will ride the storm with them and hold on even in the dark moments. The same should apply to your partner. If you are both committed to the relationship and ready to give whatever it takes, then congratulations! You are qualified to take the next step. Number 3. Are they true to their character? It is easy to become carried away by the euphoria of love, trying to impress each other. Even a bad person would try to act as an angel to win over someone they are interested in. However, if you are not careful enough to observe a person's character over time, you can tell if they are real or not. A man can be gentle, patient, kind, and overly generous with someone they claim they are in love with. And a lady can decide to become submissive, gentle, and caring to impress that man, but for how long? True, some people are like predators who would stop at nothing but do everything within their power to get their prey. But there will be some obvious red flags that will tell you whether to continue on that journey or not. It might be a brief outburst of anger or a moment of weakness where their true nature will be revealed. Do not fall for just another pretty face or charming personality. You should learn to look beyond the physical features and pay attention to the hidden man within. A man's character will also be revealed during days of adversity. How do they react to problems? What do people around them have to say about them? Do they have multiple personalities? Are they a different person in your presence and another person in your absence? These are things you should know before getting yourself involved in something you might end up regretting. Do not be in a haste to say yes, and do not be in a haste to pop up the question. Many people confess that the person they married turned out to be entirely different from who they thought they were while in courtship. So take your time and examine them properly. Do not feel pressurized. If they are truly what they claim to be, God will reveal them to you. Number 4. Your readiness to become involved. Marriage involves a lot of things that people seldom discuss while in relationship before taking it to the next stage. Are you financially buoyant to start a family? Have you counted the costs, dotted the I's, and crossed your T's? Are you willing to become committed no matter what? You have to answer these questions before you say I do, or before popping the question. There are no half measures with God, and He does not want you to start something that you cannot complete. Be sure you are ready before taking it to the next level. Number 5. How compatible are you with your partner? No venture would ever work or experience progress without agreement. While you might not share similar dreams, career, and goals, your vision must be compatible such that one can accommodate the other. You should also consider other preference, knowing that you come from different families and backgrounds, as this may affect your relationship together. God instructed the children of Israel not to marry people from other tribes and culture because they would draw them away from Him, not having a proper understanding of the culture and practices of the Israelites. You might also want to check your passions, motivations, and values if they are compatible to avoid conflicts of interests. So, rather than just spending time having fun, these issues raised should be considered and, if possible, discussed to make adjustments when necessary. Your compatibility would determine how successful your relationship and marriage will be.